With his intuitive mentoring and strategies that help businesses succeed, Mark Howard trains business owners to be successful. If you want to grow your business fast, then keep listening. If you want to grow it even faster, in less than 3 months, then visit www.MarkHoward.coach. And now, here is your host, Mark Howard, digital business mentor, author, and psychic medium.
Good day, this is Mark Howard, and in this podcast, I'm going to help you out with one of the key things that people get stuck with, and that's actually stuck with trying to find something to write about. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, I want to start to do a weekly newsletter, or I want to start writing blogs, but I don't know what to write about. Do you know what? In this podcast, I'm going to show you a number of tips that will show you how to write about anything you want to write about, how to get those topics, and more importantly, to see what is trending at the moment on the internet and how you can write about those as well.
If you're enjoying Mark's podcasts, then why not share this episode with your friends and family on social media so they can also get access to great business marketing gold content.
Now, if you listen to any of my previous podcasts, you know that when I have been talking about newsletters in specifically and when doing blogs specifically on your website, that what you've got to try and avoid is being boring. You want to give information that helps the reader, helps people to understand the process maybe, or helps people to get from A to B. Whatever it is, you're going to give them information that they can use in their day-to-day life and in their business day so they can move forward. Now, the thing is, it's often quite hard for people to find that information, to get the topics, and actually to work through and write about these. And when I say to people, I do like a newsletter every single week. And if you haven't looked at my newsletters, you see that my newsletters aren't salesy in any way, shape or form. They're very much about how to help the end user, how to help the person specifically. And I get a lot of positive comments from people saying to me, I love your newsletters. They give me so much inspiration. They give me so much to think about. And more importantly, I can go away and implement the ideas into my business. And the great thing, this is all free for them. Now, the reason it's free is because I want people to go away, get this information. And if they want more, or if they want to pay for services, then they're going to come to me because I'm the go-to person in my market right now. So when you're sitting there at home thinking, I need to write stuff, but I just don't know what to write about. There are a number of things that you can do right now, and listening to this podcast is going to really help you make some notes as we're going along, because this is going to take you to the next level. And I'm going to give you one website that you can go to where you can find a lot of information in your business industry. It doesn't matter what you do. You can find a lot of information there, and you can use it to write blog posts about, and you can also use it to write articles for your customers in the form of newsletters as well. So let's kick off from the start. What we're going to write about, what we're going to be doing. So some of the ideas of what you can write around. Okay, so this is not where you're going to get the information. It's just some of the ideas you're going to write about. The first thing is, you need to know what your audience ticks. Now, you need to make sure that the information you give to your audience is valuable. As I said, it interests them, and it gives them something they can go away with, something they can actually use. This is important. Now, you're not going to give away all the information, obviously. It's like the carrot dangling time. You're going to give away about 20% of the information. If they want the other 80%, that's actually going to make it work. They're going to have to come to you and pay for your services for that. But you're going to give them the 20%, just enough for them to get started with. And that's the most important thing. So you've got to know what makes your audience tick right at the beginning, what gets them going before you do anything else. The next thing is you've got to look at your competitors. What are they doing right now? What are they blogging about? Because I know you don't want to follow them, and that's fine. And I know you don't really want to jump on the back of their bandwagon, but they might be writing about something that's very specific, and you're thinking, oh, actually, that's very good points. They actually make some really great points here. And with your competitors, what you don't want to do is you don't want to plagiarize what they're doing. Never plagiarize. What you want to try and do is look at what they've done. So let's say someone's done a blog post on, the change in Google Analytics, a massive change in Google Analytics coming on board. And you think that's a great post to write about. That's something I can do on that. And what you can do is you can write about the changing at Google Analytics as your competitor has done, for example, but take it from your point of view as well. Give your opinion, give your ideas, give them alternative suggestions if you've got alternative suggestions. Engage with them and have a look at what your competition has done. And is there something on there that they've done that you could have done better, for example? You think, that's a great idea they put there, what they said there, but they've missed a whole segment out and they've missed a whole area out which they could have really expanded on. And can I put something in that as well? So that's the first thing, look at what your competition is doing as well and take a look at what's going on there. Next thing, you need to see what's trending online. Now, obviously, there's lots of places you can see what's trending online. And like I said, I'm going to give you a website shortly that you need to be looking at. But there's a lot of stuff you can find on, for example, social media and YouTube right now that's trending. And even if you're on Google as well, you can find some trending things. Somebody said to me once, how do I find out what's trending on Google right now? And I said to them, well, what you do is you start typing in the search bar, something, and Google gives you a list of suggestions. So, for example, if you're typing in, I don't know, actually, I'll give you an example. One of my customers, actually, I can give you a very good example here, was looking at what was trending at the time for probiotics. And they said, can you tell me what's trending at the moment for probiotics? Is it just people searching for probiotics? So I typed in probiotics, and Google brought up suggestions for probiotics for children, probiotics for menopause, probiotics for women over 40, probiotics for menopause. So people weren't just searching for probiotics. That wasn't what they're searching for. They're actually searching for specific key phrases or sentences. And that's a great way to do it as well. So you can sit there and just say, right, what are people searching for right now? Start typing in one or two keywords around your business, and Google actually gives you suggestions, and that's what people are actually searching for. So that's a really great way to do it. As I said, social media is an excellent place to go through. People are always talking about what's going on. The news, for example, the BBC News, Sky News, anything like that, you can get a lot of information from them as well. And, of course, video platforms such as YouTube and TikTok, specifically TikTok. You can do, on TikTok, I don't know if you know, but you can click on a discovery button, and that tells you what's trending at that time on TikTok. So if you haven't got TikTok, download it, click on the discovery button, bang, gives you all the information, tells you exactly what is trending, gives you the hashtags and everything. It's brilliant. So that's another thing that you could be looking at right now. Number 4, as I've spoken about before in the past, is don't try and sell all the time. I normally say don't try and sell at all. Don't sell to the reader, sell through the reader, because it's not necessarily the reader you're trying to get to. It's their friends and their family. That's where you're trying to get to. So the best thing to do when you're writing anything is always do like a PS at the end. PS, if you want help with this, I can help you with it. But don't do it on every single newsletter, for example. So I would do, if I take 2 months worth of newsletters, let's just take 2 months of newsletters, which is 8 weeks. So it's 8 newsletters. I would probably put some kind of PS on there with some call to action or some selling point on there. I say probably 2 or 3 times, and that's it. So maybe every other one, maybe one every third one, something along those lines. It's very rarely I'd put it much on the call to actions as far as selling is going. So it's worth keeping in the back of your mind that you're not always selling. That's not the process here. Your website is where you're selling. You as a person, that's where you're selling. Your writing, your blog posts, your newsletters, anything like that, that's not where you're selling. This is where people fall down all the time, because as soon as it starts to become salesy, people will delete it. And you think about this yourself. When you've been doing work and you've done a newsletter or you've seen an email come through and it starts to get too salesy, you put it straight in the bin. That's the same process. If you're doing it, everybody's doing it as well. Okay. The last area you want to get ideas from is basically whatever pops into your head. And that sounds really strange, your own experiences. And if you're not sure, one of the things you can do, and I do this quite often, so I've got a free app on my mobile phone, which is a voice recorder app. And literally I'll be going along and something will happen or I see something, and what I do is just take a voice and I make a quick voice note. This is what happened. This is the outcome, blah, blah, blah. And it could be something really funny I saw. It might not, often not, it's not even related to my business, but I can make it related to my business because I can see the connection there. And what I would do is I'll actually talk about that or write that in the newsletter. So that's another great thing to do. So whatever pops into your head, you're sitting there thinking, I'm not sure. You can get a lot there. Now, I actually spoke to a customer recently, and we was doing one of my power hours sessions with her. And it was about email marketing. I was taking her through email marketing. And she said, well, where do I get the ideas from? Where do I get the ideas from? I said, look, if you want some of the best ideas, what I would do is go home tonight, sit down with your husband. I said, crack open a bottle of wine, drink the bottle of wine, crack open a second bottle of wine, and then start coming up with ideas. I said, by the end of the evening, I said, not only will you be drunk and happy, I said, you'd have about 40 or 50 ideas. And I said, no, some of them are going to sound really crazy. And you're going to say, no, I would never do that. But I said, because you let yourself go, because you've relaxed a little bit, the ideas are starting to generate. And I said, the more wackier, the better half the time anyway. So I said, just go for everything that's on there. And you'd have 40, 50 ideas. I said, you'd have a year's worth of podcasts, of newsletters, of blogs, all just from that one session. So that's a great way of doing it. I don't recommend you do it every single night. Well, you can do it every single night if you want to, but it's not something I would recommend that you would do. Now, I promised right at the beginning of this, the one website, I should be doing a drum roll for this really, but I'm not going to. The one website you should be going to, which will really help give you some ideas, some inspirations, and get you in the right direction. It's a very popular website. When I tell you, you're going to go, no, surely not, or you're going to say, oh, what a great idea. The website you want to go to, like I said, I should do a drum roll, but I'm not going to, is Reddit. You heard me. Reddit, that online system where every single celebrity seems to be on there right now. Reddit is a great place to get interesting information and content ideas from the rich and famous to virtually everyone. Everyone is on there, and everyone is asking questions and doing things. So if your business, I've got an example here, if your business sells dog training equipment and focus on positive reinforcement, there's going to be a subreddit dedicated to that. There will be something dedicated to that. So you will find something dedicated to your business in there somewhere. Now, what you can do, this is some of the things that we've come up with, which you can look at. There's 4 things you can look at on the Reddit thing. Is firstly, is questions. People ask questions on Reddit all the time. They really do. And when you get people like, how do you do this? Or are there any thoughts on this? This is, I don't believe in this, what do you believe in? Those type of things. These are the questions that people ask. And they're giving you the topic ideas. And because it's already trending on Reddit, guess what? You're going to be trending as well, right? So that's a great way. Look at some of the things that people ask questions about. And like I said, don't necessarily worry too much if it's not in your business niche. Think it outside the box a little bit, because sometimes you can look at something that's not in your business niche and put it in and make it your business niche. Okay? There's a lot of discussions on Reddit as well, so people are always having discussions, and a single comment can normally end up as a long thread. I'll normally read the thread as well, as much as possible, just to get some information from it. And in fact, if you look at some of the blog posts or some of the stuff you see trending on Facebook right now, even in the newspaper, it would say Reddit 25 said, and people would actually quote people from Reddit. And that person will appear in the press. So it's quite interesting how the press are now picking up on Reddit as a place to go to. Complaints as well. Now, that might sound like a negative thing, and it really will sound like a negative thing. But what do people complain about? Why are they complaining about? And how can you address that as well? And can you make people see things in a different way? Why are people unhappy? Can you create a problem from that? I'm going to revert here to Ivan Meisner, the founder of BNI, and something that happened to him years ago, and how he addressed his complaints when he was online one day, and someone actually made a complaint about how poor BNI was, about his experience of going to a BNI meeting, and they said it was a really, really bad experience, and really put quite a scathing complaint up about it. Now, interesting enough, Ivan Meisner also said he picks up on this complaint, and he actually wrote back to the person, but he didn't write back in the negative. He actually wrote back, and he wrote back in the positive and said to this guy, look, the first thing he said was, I'm really sorry that this is your experience. That's not what we want to happen in BNI. And he gave a little brief overview, invited the person to come back and talk to him. Anyway, the long short of this whole thing was that this person actually ended up becoming a BNI member, but not just any old BNI member. He became one of their best BNI members at that time. The thing is with complaints, yes, you need to address them. People just ignore them or delete them, but you should really address them. Now, if you don't want to, then don't do it. It's as simple as that. But if you can, and if you feel up to address it, there's different ways you can address it, and sometimes in the positive, sometimes in the negative. That's entirely up to you. But there are different ways you can do it. The other thing is as well is you can gauge interest on certain topics on Reddit. So, put up a question yourself. Put up a question yourself and just say, what are people's thoughts about this? What are their feelings about that? And get that whole thread going, because that will actually give you a great piece of information, and it gives you some great details that you can be using. And what you can do is you can then use that in your blog post and your newsletter and say, I put out this question, this is what I got back, it's really interesting, and you can put your thoughts and feelings around that as well. So there you go. So if you're stuck for ideas, hopefully now I've given you a whole host of information of where you can get it from, including the one important website that you should be using right now. If you enjoy my podcast, as always, please do like, comment, and share. Share to social media is the most important thing for me, please, because it allows your friends, family, and other business colleagues to get to hear my information, to hear my marketing gold nuggets that they can take away and use for themselves. If you've been using Reddit, I'd love to hear your comments, really would. Put them in the comments below. Tell me how you've been getting on with Reddit, how you've used it, and what information you've been able to glean from it, and has it been beneficial to you and your customers. Whatever you're doing in business, have a fantastic week, and I look forward to talking to you next week.